there we are. Let's get that church chat theme going. It's church chat with Pastors Dan and Dave. Come hang out with us on our stream. It's Church Chat Wednesday. And James.
Hello, Internet. Glad to have you here. I'm Pastor Dan.
And I'm Pastor Dave.
Glad that you are with us today for Church Chat. Dave, how you doing today, man?
Good. Hey, I did have a request earlier this week.
What's up?
Somebody said, hey, we need to show James more in Church Chat.
James, where are you at?
I watch all your church chats. And I'm like, that's because James is over there getting a foot massage.
No, he is. He's getting a foot massage. I don't think there's any way to have a camera see this, but he's got this little foot massager down there, and it's... Are you going to lift your feet up with it on?
I don't think
this could go real bad.
Oh, don't do it, man. It's not worth it. So he's just over there relaxing. This is the easiest part of his day. He's pretty happy with this.
You know, today is one of those days, it's been cold for so long, you almost feel like if you had a convertible, you'd have the top down.
It is... Yeah, it is gorgeous out there. I saw somebody post a picture of the Adam Sandler from Billy Madison, which not a church-approved show, but where he's laying in his pool with a smiley face and suntan lotion on him. He's like Ohio when it hits 45 degrees. Yeah. It's perfect out.
I told my parents who were in Florida that the other day. I said it's like 34 degrees and it feels like spring is here.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go plant my garden this afternoon.
The funny thing is there's a huge difference between spring 45 degrees and fall 45 degrees.
That is absolutely true. Spring 45 degrees is amazing.
Yeah.
Fall 45 degrees is when I put on a parka.
Yeah.
That's when it's just awful. But this is fantastic, especially when the sun's out and you go out and for the first time you step outside and the air doesn't hurt your face.
Yeah.
Instead, it feels like, oh, I feel the warmth, and I just do this.
And there's always 6 days a year where Ohio is the most beautiful place on earth. Mm-hmm. The rest, not so much.
No.
But
hey, Dan, the weather's so nice. You want to go jogging later?
I do not. Although,
what's chasing you?
Although I have, and I'm not going to get into it because. I don't talk much about the things I'm fasting from or anything like that. But I will say that my Lenten discipline this year includes a form of exercise.
Dude, so does mine.
Does it?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. So that's what I decided I was going to do is include that. And then every time I'm incredibly sore from it, it reminds me of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was
that retroactively.
Exercise and a thankfulness journal.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I like that. So I haven't given an update for a long time on all the animals that I have in my house. But we used to talk about chickens a lot. Then you became a chicken agnostic, atheist. I don't know what you are. I'm not sure if you believe in chickens anymore.
I got grossed out by the chickens, but
and
they're
so
coming back.
You're going to get new ones?
Well, we'll talk about
it. Okay. So I don't want to talk about that, but I was really worried this morning. I had a scary morning. So
tell me Pepe's okay.
It's not the chickens. The chickens are fine. Okay. I don't care about the chickens. But our cat, Belle, who we've had for forever, she's almost 15 at this point. We were starting to get a little worried about her. I'm a bad pet owner. I don't know the last time I took her to the vet. But took her this morning. And when you take a almost 15-year-old cat to the vet, every time it might be, this is it for your cat.
Yeah.
So I was really worried about that. This is probably the pet that I'm most attached to. And but she was okay. It turns out that orange cats, when they get older, their ears just kind of leak.
Ooh.
So got that going on, which is nice. but she's alive. She's alive.
It's a good mental note about orange cats.
Mental note about orange cats: when they get older, sometimes their ears just leak. It happens. I don't know why.
So my puppy's coming for
You're
Saturday.
Getting a puppy.
Yeah.
Look at you.
He's coming
Nick Chubb.
Saturday. Yep. He's coming Saturday.
Good for you.
And yeah, my the little guy that's always over at our house, Gabe. He did talk to me about the chickens, and he's still mad
Because Gabe, loved the chickens.
that I got rid of.
What
the
did he call them?
chickens.
Cluck clucks?
Bok boks.
Buck bucks.
And so I did tell him at Easter we can go out and get him a couple.
I saw a sign on I don't think Farm and Supply or whatever the place is that says chick days are coming.
I just would prefer to get like 2 that are already ready to
grown?
be outside.
I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I did it. I did it last. Remember, I got the girls,
Yeah.
and they didn't get along with my girls.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I had to,
Yeah.
yeah. I just bought them from a
Alright.
farm.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for you.
and Heidi's so happy.
I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's
Lisa
just
Whitaker
thrilled.
is like, I've been asking for a puppy forever. How did you pull that off? I said, like this. Can I have a puppy? Can I have a puppy? Can I have a, please, can I have a puppy?
And then you just went and got one no matter the response.
No, she caved.
Did she?
Kind of.
Aw. You got a hit of a cave and just went for
Yeah.
it.
Yes, that's a full-blown yes.
So I want to, before I forget, and just in case, I can't imagine there's people that don't stick around for the entire show. But just in case, I want to let people know what's coming up because I'm really excited about what's coming up.
Well, there's 2 good ones.
Well, there's 3 good ones counting today.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I'm telling him you said that. Today we're going to be talking with Jason Wagner here in just a little bit. Jason Wagner is, how do we describe him? He's the arch nemesis of both of you. But he's a friend of all of ours. He's a local musician. He's also a local potter, drinking out of a Jason Wagner mug today.
Me too.
And teaches at the high school. And so we just want to get kind of his thoughts on some of these things that we've been experiencing, but he's been experiencing also, and get his perspective on some of that.
You know, the coffee doesn't taste quite as good as in a Dave Charles mug.
I was going to say the opposite, but whatever. This tastes like friendship and kindness. And
You might say that Jason Wagner's mugs are the best mugs in Findlay, right?
Yeah, along with his guitar playing.
So,
You guys ready to bring him on?
Yeah.
is he there?
Hey, he's-
All right, cool.
We're doing it different nowadays. I'm getting everybody ready.
You're getting them
first.
ready to go. So, Jason, this is Dan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There we go. Oh, you guys can't hear
I
me
can't
yet.
hear him.
Correct.
Don't worry, I've got to turn a bunch of knobs to make all this.
Turn the knobs, James.
All right, here you go.
All right, now I can hear you. How you doing, Jason?
I can hear you.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
It's Dan and Dave
We were just going through a really long intro.
of who
For
you
you.
are. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
are
Steam.
decided that you are the arch nemesis of pretty much everyone in this room. You're in competition with Dave and in mug making and other forms of pottery. Competition with
This is true.
James. And so it just begs the question: are you going to try to open a church and compete with me now? Like, what's going on? So, no, we're glad to have you, man.
I've been perfecting my meat
Oh,
smoking game.
oh, and
Ooh.
Dan.
listen, it's one thing to come after my church; it's another thing to come after my smoked meats. That's a step too far. That's a step too far. Hey, glad to have you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Just wanted to talk a little bit about James and Dave have both experienced with some of the ways that you are active in the community. They've experienced, I think, this past year in a lot of the similar ways that you have. So, just what's this last year been like for you, both in terms of playing music and all of that, and then also just the other stuff that you do?
Well, it's definitely been unusual. I guess, starting last spring, we really didn't know the ramifications totally of how it was going to work. So as a teacher, I thought I was just preparing for a couple of weeks off, and going remote didn't seem to be such a big deal. But we made the most of it. And I think there at the end of the school year last year, I was actually able to get some clay in the students' hands and had a a really random pickup, but I remember standing out in front of Lincoln last April, kind of in the cold, passing out lunches to people as they drove up, and that was a really scary time. There were no mask mandates at that point, and everything seemed like a ghost land there for a while. But getting back into this year, I really felt like we did the best we could. Personally, I made a bunch of kits for my students in all my classes, and either the students came and picked them up, I mailed some out, and I delivered several of them around town just to make sure that the students could have their stuff. And we're kind of transitioning into this new age where we can actually work remotely and talk to people virtually. So as bad as it's been, I think there's going to be some good that comes out of it. So it hasn't been all bad. Music has been interesting. I don't know. It's hard being a musician. If you had the skills like James, where you can do all of this fancy stuff with the video and throw your Venmo information up there, that if I had those skills, I'd probably be more likely playing a lot more online shows. But I don't know. It's just you got to make the best of it, I guess. I'm looking forward to better things to come, and I think it'll be even better.
Yeah.
So
sure.
one thing we didn't segue real well is given Jason's backstory. If you don't know who he is, he's our high school ceramics teacher, as well as musician and artist and that sort of thing. Jason has one of the most popular classes, I think, at the school. You do something really cool, though, in the spring with the students, the Clay Olympics. Can you tell us about that? And were you able to pull that off last year?
So we did one in the fall. We call it a Day of Clay, and it does encompass a Clay Olympics within that. We will be doing one on May 14th this year. I'm really excited because I've got 2 advanced ceramics classes right now, which are like the best ceramics students we have here at the high school. And yeah, we do. We have students break down into groups, and they compete against one another. And we grill out. This year, we're actually building a pizza oven during class on Fridays, and do wood-fired pizzas. And then the whole oven is going to be made out of clay. Wow. It's gonna be really awesome.
That's
so we'll
incredible.
be doing that, Dave. Dan, I'll invite you too.
Okay, thanks.
You can come. Yeah. You can come check it out. But yeah, and then we do a raku firing, so we get to play with some fire and kind of, extend it's like a whole day of ceramics, and it's just a really good time. Typically I have an amazing rapport with this group of kids, and it's the end of the year, so it's kind of a changing of the guard for some of the students who are going to be the incoming seniors, but it's also a great time to say goodbye and kind of, have one last good outing together.
And you do art camp too here in town. Did you have to put the kibosh on that last year?
Last year we did. Working with a school district can be kind of challenging sometimes, and they have a lot of things that they have to keep in mind, so we did cancel it. I personally started a virtual camp called Brain Camp last year, where I put together several videos with local teachers and artists, and it wasn't just art, it was science, artists, language. We did a Spanish component to one of the videos. And the students came into my studio, or the teachers did, and I filmed them. And then Sean Malloy did all the video editing for us. And we sent those out. We did like 75 kits, and we sent them to 4 different states other than Ohio, which was pretty cool. And then this summer, though, we do have art camp on the books in June 21st through the 25th. And we're going to try to mix it up this year and bring in some music and maybe cooking. We're going to try to celebrate the arts this year, and not just do the visual arts.
What age group is that for?
Well, in the past, it's been preschool through 8th grade, and I think we're going to stick with that this year. And typically, we've done it all in 2 weeks, but this year we are going to try to get it all done in 1 week. But we're spreading ourselves out within the school so we can keep socially distant.
Excellent.
Very cool.
And where can people typically find registration for that?
The registration will be up in about another week at fhsartcamp.com, and it's all online registration. And there should be some more information here. Which kind of like last year, I put a ton of time in planning, and then it got canceled, and then we had to refund a bunch of money. So I've been kind of waiting here just to make sure that this thing is going to happen.
So FHSArtCamp.com, and I see James right now copying that link to put in the comment section so people can find that if they are interested in all of that. Just what made you originally get involved in ceramics and pottery? What was it that made you kind of fall in love with that?
Well, that's interesting. Because I really don't know. I will tell you that my background is actually in glass blowing.
Really?
And so I used to own a glass blowing studio called Molten Bud, and I ran that for like 3 years, right during the last recession. It was really expensive to run. And I ended up selling that to a youth camp in upstate New York, which is a crazy question. But so then... It's a really long story, actually, Dan.
It sounds like it. That's okay.
But
go on.
I had an amazing ceramics instructor in art school down at the Columbus College of Art and Design named Bill Hunt, and he really inspired me. And then I put ceramics aside because I was focusing on glass, and then randomly, after losing my house in the flood and backpacking through Europe and living in Australia, I came back to Findlay, and I got to start teaching at Findlay High School, and they kind of had a dead ceramics program, and I dusted everything off and just kind of relearned how to do it. And then finally, I just realized I needed to monetize one of my skill sets in order to do the things in life that I want to do. So ceramics just seemed to work because I can, I guess.
That was a lot right there.
Yeah.
And I could dive into that story for a long time, and I'll just wait till your book comes out.
All right, sure.
Till your memoir, yes.
There was one thing I wanted to give you a chance to talk about before you go is just because I think it's cool that you partnered up with former students, and that's Timber Fork Studios.
Yeah. So Timber Fork Studios is kind of like, I don't know. I've always wanted to own my own studio, and honestly, I don't want to just make ceramic work. I would like to be doing design work and designing logos and websites and things of that nature, and I do dabble in that. But I've developed some really amazing relationships with students who either didn't know what they were going to do and but loved ceramics, and we just started working together, and it was a great thanks, James. It was a great relationship. So a gentleman named Austin Newman works for me right now, and he graduated a couple years ago. And then I also have current students who come in and they help glaze, and so we're kind of extending what we're doing inside the school. We just do it in the studio, and they get paid, which is what they should be doing because they're working. Right. So it's a good thing. I don't know where it's going to go. I'd love to expand into the downtown into a space. If I could be on Crawford Street doing it, or and just continue to get people making things, because it's really enjoyable. As you know.
I just thought it was awesome that you're taking that mentorship beyond the school. So appreciate it.
So take just a second before you head out. If people would like to find it. So Dave has Soggy Bottom Pottery. If you want to get his mugs, you can go there and find that. So where can people find any of your mugs, and where can they hear you play music if they're not at Logan's listening to James?
Yeah, so you can find me musically at jasonxwagner.com, or you can find Timberfork at timberfork.com or timberforkstudio.com. And we just launched our website to be able to sell stuff on timberforkstudio.com. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Also, I have to know, is X your middle name? I mean, is that your middle initial, or is that just something you threw in?
No, it's just separates my first.
Are you an X-Men of some sort?
I thought it might be Jason Xavier Wagner.
From now on, it is.
Now, also,
it sounded better than Jason M. Wagner.
Also, Jason and our bands are playing both at Logan's the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day and St. Patrick's Day. I think on the Saturday before, my band plays first and his band plays second, and then on St. Patrick's Day, his band plays first and my band plays second. So,
well, there you go. Right on.
Good dual plug right there.
Well, if you want to go see them, that's where they will be. Jason, thanks. It's been awesome to, like, you and I met at, I'm guessing, the Hoodocks probably like 10 years ago or something like that. So it's been fun to stay in touch with you and catch up with you. Thanks for what you do for the students, and for all of our teachers, I think, had to find ways to adapt. The honest truth is, if you're teaching math or English or something like that, that was pretty easy to just figure out, okay, I'm going to get online and we're going to have an online class. Teaching students to do ceramics online, that seems like that was more difficult, and sounds like you went out of your way to go take stuff to people where they needed it, mail it to people. Thanks for what you did for all the students. I'm sure it was...
yeah, no worries. It was my pleasure. I love doing it.
Very appreciated. So, cool, man. Hey, thanks for stopping in with us, and hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dan, Dave, and James. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care, man. We'll see you.
Bye.
So, I kind of mentioned how you guys met or know him, but he just happens to be a friend of a friend, and we would always hang out on New Year's together. It's just this group of people that would get together for New Year's. So I would see him like once a year at New Year's. And we would spend New Year's together for like the last 10 years or so, until this year. We obviously didn't have a New Year's party, but it's been cool to catch up with him. Now we're in fantasy football and other stuff together too. So yeah, but he is kind of our arch rival in a lot of things.
Jason is actually a really good guy and always willing to help out and throw somebody else a bone when they need to, and that kind of thing. So been very appreciative of him. He and I partner up a lot because I've been teaching at Millstream. Mm-hmm. So I use his studio basically at the high school.
Gotcha.
Which is, like he said, quite an incredible... I don't know if most people would not know this, but our high school has a nicer studio than most colleges. Certainly nicer than the one I used in college.
Yeah, he's a fantastic potter, and I would say, easily the best musician in town.
I agree.
Well, and he's a true artist.
No, the whole glass blowing thing, I could have talked to him about that for a while. There's a Netflix show called Blown Away, and it's all about like this glass blowing competition that I got sucked into one Saturday. Like, I probably watched like 5 or 6 episodes, and it was fascinating to me how people do that sort of thing. So yeah, before we had him come on, I was going to mention a couple things. The people that we have coming up, I want to make sure I mention that. So next week, we have Stefan Adams, who is the newly hired high school football coach at Findlay High School. So excited to have him. He's also a counselor at Glenwood. And so it'll be cool to talk with him. And then the week following that, we'll be with Reverend Adam Hamilton, who is the pastor at Church of the Resurrection in Kansas City, Missouri, largest United Methodist church in the world. And he's also the author of the book Simon Peter that we are currently studying at St. Mark's as we go through this season of Lent. it was interesting to me in kind of going over Simon Peter this last week and starting off the sermon series preaching on that. Simon Peter, just like how big of a role, it's easy to overlook how big of a role he actually has in the New Testament. He's mentioned more than 200 times. All the other disciples combined are mentioned less than 50 times. And so he's a incredibly important figure in Scripture. And so it's been really kind of fun to kind of go through and study him. I always find it funny. People are like, of all the apostles, I identify most with Peter. And I think everybody says that. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I think you're meant to try to identify with Peter. I think that's kind of the idea. And number two, what other one would you say you could possibly identify with? What do you know about any of the other ones? Oh, yeah, I feel really a lot like Thaddeus. Like, no, you don't know anything. Or who are you going to say, Judas? Like, what are you going to say? Of course you identify with Peter.
Well, and the weird thing is, though, even though he wasn't one of the original 12, who do we talk about the most, though?
Paul. Yeah. Talk about Paul the most because he wrote most of it.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he gets to be a main character. When you write the book, you can make yourself a main character.
But I think you can identify with Peter because of just,
Yeah.
just it's right there in my face, but
also, yeah. Yeah, he's...
I forgot you did that.
Something I'm going to talk about this week, and I'll try not to steal my own thunder. I do that sometimes. But, so the whole scene with him, there's a storm. This week's scripture is one of the storm of the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus comes walking to them on the water. And Peter says, Lord, command me to get out of the boat and walk to you. And Jesus says, come. And Peter starts walking towards Jesus out on the water, but then he begins to sink when he notices the wind and the waves, and Jesus saves him and says, you little faith. And we always look at Peter like, oh yeah, Peter messed up again. The other 11 disciples are just looking for life vests in the boat. They're not trying to get out. They're not trying to do anything. Peter's at least making an attempt to go to where the action is, to go to where Jesus is. And so I appreciate that about him. It's easy to kind of put him down, but I think there's also some aspects about who Peter is that are really, I don't know, just really fascinating. And as I was talking about this last week, I'll mention this also. So it was about 3 years ago that I was in the Holy Land and went to Capernaum. That was Peter's hometown. And what's interesting is it's right there in the town with the Sea of Galilee behind it. There's this huge statue of Peter. As not as the bumbling fisherman, but really as kind of the first pope, as he's remembered by the Catholics. And it was so interesting. There was a line to get your picture taken with this statue. I just wanted a picture of the statue. I didn't want to be in the picture. Like, I had to push tourists out of the way just to get a picture of just the statue because people wanted to go and to have their picture taken with that. It was just interesting to me. It's fascinating just how we remember Peter. But what's really interesting, and I'll talk about this a little bit, it's from that spot in Capernaum. It's on the very north side of the Sea of Galilee. And as you look out down south over the Sea of Galilee, it's not that big. It's only like 8 miles across or something like that at its widest point. But on either side of the Sea of Galilee are these cliffs that are really dormant volcanoes. The Sea of Galilee running right down the middle of it and right along the Jordan River all the way down to the Dead Sea. There's a fault line there that connects the Asian and African tectonic plates. So really, geography-wise, it's where Africa and Asia meet. So there's like these huge cliffs on either side, and you realize, because I always thought, like, this is not this big of a sea, how are people struggling so much with all these storms? Like, I feel like every other story about the Sea of Galilee is about storms. When you're out on the sea, you can't see what weather's approaching. It's on you. The storm just comes over the mountains and boom, it's on you. You could be out. If you're out in the middle of the lake, you're in trouble. There's no way of knowing that it's on the way. So it's a fascinating place. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that this week. So important question. James, what time is it?
12:31.
12:31. We have a hard out at 12:45 today. James has a very important appointment that we've got to get him to.
I have to, oh shoot, I gotta turn my mic on. Hold on. My mic and my video are separate buttons I have to press. Yes, I'm going to get my nails done at VIP Nails from my favorite nail guy.
Text I never thought I would receive.
As a matter of fact, the person that does my nails is also a guy. Its name is Lee. He's great.
Shout out to Lee at VIP Nails.
Lee. That's my month-old nails, but I'm getting new ones.
These are tools of the trade for you. This is not something James does just to feel pretty, although it does make him feel pretty.
Yes.
But
just a happy consequence.
Yes, but they're tools of the trade. It's what you pick the guitar with.
Yeah. James Taylor does the same thing, except he puts his own nails on. I'd rather have Lee do it. Lee's good.
James. So
Taylor.
Does Lee put these acrylic nails on you then? So would they be called Lee press-on nails? Hey.
Look at you knowing stuff.
That's a joke. So excited for the coming weeks. Again, Stefan Adams, and then Adam Hamilton, and so we got a couple of good ones coming up. Thanks to Jason Wagner for being with us today.
I think we should make a request of our audience.
Okay.
I mean, for a year now, we've been kind of racking our brain.
It has been almost a year.
For people to come on the show, and sometimes it feels like we're running out of people.
Yeah. If there's someone that you want to hear, or if you think you would make an amazing guest, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'd love to talk with you. Things that are coming up. Corinne is still putting out videos for Spark Kids Online. She did a great job with Pretzel Day this last Saturday. It was a lot of fun with the kids as a way to kick off the season of Lent. And then this Sunday, we will have our traditional service at 9 a.m., contemporary at 11:15, Kids Sunday School at 10 o'clock, as well as Youth Sunday School. Youth group this Sunday?
Yes, it is.
All right. Just regular old youth group? Nothing crazy this time?
No craziness.
All right. So that's at what time?
3:30.
3:30.
3:30 to 5.
For the youth. One of your youth, my daughter, is going to her very first job interview today at 4 o'clock.
Whoa.
At Chick-fil-A.
Somebody
must have put in a good word.
Did she tell you? This was pretty cool. A couple weeks ago, we had somebody from Chick-fil-A. He's actually the operator of this one. The GM of this one.
Dude, we should get the Chick-fil-A guy on
He
here.
came to us, a bunch of youth pastors, and basically just said, hey, look, I'm looking for people who would be great additions to our team, but aren't afraid to talk to Jesus. And I'm like, I have this girl who brought like 20 people to youth
Chick-fil-A is Jesus's chicken.
And so she, hopefully that helps in some way. But I thought Adeline was exactly what he's looking for.
Well, we'll see what happens. She's a little bit nervous. I quizzed her last night. Like I did a mock interview with her, and I started off and I said, "Hi, welcome to Chick-fil-A." And she reached out and shook my hand. I was like, "Dude, there's COVID. You can't shake my hand. What are you doing?" So gotcha. Get out.
Hey, Kelly's on here.
Hey, Kelly.
Said a few things. Jason is awesome.
Jason is awesome.
And thanks for telling us it was a joke, having to do probably with the nail joke that you made. And she also says, "Good luck, Adeline."
Well, I will let her know. And by the way, Kelly, for those of you who don't know, also helps teach our high school Sunday school class and does a fantastic job with that.
She's just
She's just fun. You're fun, Kelly. We like you.
One plug about Chick-fil-A that I did not know is you've seen the line at that Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe how fast you get through that line.
Oh, yeah.
We're in the top 20% as far as drive-through speed in the country.
Really?
Hey, if they would have been in charge of like the COVID vaccines.
Oh man, we'd all be doing
we'd
fine
be-
right now.
Living the life.
This is not a real hardship, but there is a little bit of a twinge of sadness for me. I was supposed to leave for vacation this Saturday. My in-laws were going to take us to Hawaii, and that's not happening. Instead, I'm here in Ohio. You know what? I'm going to be here with you guys at church, and I'm going to give it my all. And I'm just going to imagine that I'm on a warm beach somewhere. But if I can't be there, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. So, anything else for the good of the order?
If you take me on the trip, we'll make it work.
Okay.
Hey, isn't it time for James to get his nails done?
It is.
Pretty close.
All right. Thank you guys for being with us. We will be back with you again next Wednesday, and hope to see you at church this Sunday or live online at 11:15 on Facebook and YouTube.com. You need to say .com. I think people just know where it is, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. James.
I believe the way they say it is on the YouTube.
The YouTube.
Yeah.
The YouTubes.
You forgot to say www.
http://www.youtube.com
I was having
/St. Mark's Finley.
I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, and we were talking about how we were alive when the internet was created, which you guys can also understand. But
Al Gore
made
it, right?
I said the word. Yeah, that's right. I said the word. I said World Wide Web. You know,
The
and
World
I
Wide Web.
thought, that must be what www stands for. Is that right? I mean, it must
That
be.
is correct.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love doing stuff like that, like telling my kids why we say hang up the phone, like you used to hang up a phone.
Yeah.
Takes a village.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for being with us today, and we will see you next time. Jimmy plays out.
Ba-bum-ba-bum-bum-bum.
It's Church Chat with Pastors Dan and Dave. Come hang out with us on our stream. It's Church Chat Wednesday.
See you guys later.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.